Hey everyone, we are in our last week of the 6-week winter challenge program, which I can't believe that we're already here. So we're in March now, and I'm going to be telling you a story that took place early in January. And this may be our longest video because I tend to, when I'm passionate about something, keep talking about it. And you'll kind of get a little glimpse of what my son experienced one morning. So a little bit of story time. My son is a cadet volunteer firefighter. He can't currently go out to calls by himself, but yet he gets those call outs. And every once in a while, there may be some that he could go out to currently until he turns 18. So he gets a call out one morning, and it's really early in the morning. I think it's just him and I in the living room. And he casually, I said, "Oh, what was that one for?" And he said, "It's for a fall on the ice." So it was the week we had all those snowstorms. And he said, "It's always for women." I mean, just like that, So I'm sure the call came in like, "Female, fell on ice," it's always for women. And I went into a little bit of rant mode. So, my response kind of became this little diatribe about how women have always been told to be skinny. You can only be skinny, never strong. Muscles are bad. Lifting anything heavier than 3 pounds, you're going to look bulky and like a bodybuilder. And so then because of that, we've done nothing to increase our bone health. We've done nothing to increase our bone density besides maybe taking a calcium supplement, drinking some milk a day. And now when we're older, we don't have the flexibility, we don't have the mobility, the range of motion, the functional range, that functional range of motion. And so that then when we fall, our bones instantly break because they're incredibly weak and incredibly thin. So I'm not quite sure he was really ready for that at 6 a.m, but that's what he got. And I've been his mother for 17 years, so he's kind of used to it. But I just want to say it is time to put some of those fitness myths that women have been taught to bed. And maybe even to bed, I would have a stronger one, get it out of here if it wasn't, on a public platform. So let's just put those to bed. So I want to start, we're going to get a little bit in the weeds. I know we've had some with some sciencey, fitnessy terms, a little bit in the weeds, just a little bit. There is a law called Wolff's Law that said bones, so this is two ways of kind of wrapping your head around it. Bones adapt to the amount of mechanical stress they experience. So the greater the force you put on a bone, the thicker and stronger they become. They actually create more bone when introduced to a force or to a resistance. So bones adapt, which create more bone, stronger, thicker, to the amount of mechanical stress that they experience. So lifting 3 pounds dumbbells is not a whole lot of force, not a whole lot of resistance put on our bones. So it's only going to increase the amount of the weight that we're lifting. So think heavier weights, greater force on the bones that make them bigger, thicker, and stronger. So it's not just muscles we're wanting to change. It is our bones as well. So what are those forces? Pushing, pulling motions like push-ups, chest press, tricep extensions, squats, lunges. Those sound familiar? Pulling motions, rows, bicep curls, deadlifts, leg curls. Again, do any of those things sound familiar? They're all the things that we've been doing in this push-pull-legs core 6-week program. Those are all adding that mechanical stress. And if you're lifting heavier, it's creating stronger, thicker bone. I mean, it's literally like the composition of your bone is changing. So just kind of sciencey hat for a little bit. The cells inside of it are creating brand new bone when you are dying because you're lifting a heavy weight and you're challenging yourself. That just it blows my mind how amazing God has created the human body. So, your by now, we're week 6. You're super familiar with the workouts. You know that the things I just described are what we have been doing. And that there is some bad news when it comes to this. So that if you stop this resistance training, 6-week program, you don't continue to, you don't do anything else, it may only take a few weeks to completely reverse the effects of this 6-week program. Completely reverse it. And I'm talking weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, maybe. So in half the time of a 6-week program, you would have lost all progress, which sounds just really awful to lose all that in such a short time frame. So resistance training is not a one and done. It's not, I did this program, my bones are stronger, yay! You can completely reverse that bone strength that you just gained in 6 weeks, in maybe 2 to 3 weeks. So we have to continue resistance training for the rest of our lives. And in more bad news, I promise there's going to be a good news story. But in more bad news, the mortality rates increase significantly for older people after they have fallen. It's years, a few years after they have fallen, their mortality rates increase. So if someone has fallen, they may only live for 3 more years. They may only live for 5 more years. And that doesn't seem like 3 to 5 years, but that is a lot. That is a lot to say that's all the life that you have left is 3 to 5 years. That's a lot. So that's again kind of more bad news. But I have some good news. So about 20 years ago, my grandmother experienced a fall, and she had her first initial hip surgery, total hip replacement. Now she's had several hip replacements after that because the hip got recalled. Then because of having a false hip in the one side, it created problems for her other hip. So she had to get the other hip. She's had a lot. But what did I say? I said 20 years ago that happened to her. So how is a woman like my grandmother defying the statistical data of people falling and dying within 3 to 5, maybe 10 years, 10 at the most, 10 years of falling? Because prior to that, she went to her Y and did her workout several times a week with her group fitness class. She's been kind of interested in fitness her whole life, and it's the most adorable thing. We get together now, and she lives in a assisted living community, and she had us do her chair workout that she led one day because the person who usually was there couldn't do it. She's like, okay, Lauren, I want to see if you can do my workout, my chair workout and everything. And it was amazing. I love being able to kind of share that, me as a pushing 40 woman with my grandmother who is 90. So it really is just amazing. But she had that history. She was going to her Y up until the day that she fell. So she had, and she was active. So coming back to our previous videos where we're talking about activity versus exercise, she didn't just exercise, or she wasn't just active, she had them both. She was incredibly active in her garden, on the farm. She was incredibly active at exercise and at the YMCA where she lived. So all those things work hand in hand. And that's kind of the, thing I want you to take away, is that a lifestyle of health and fitness prepares us for when those challenges come. And a fall and a hip replacement are an incredible challenge, especially if you're like my grandmother and you are allergic to most of the pain medications, like Tylenol 3. She can't take Tylenol 3 when you're allergic to those. So it is a huge challenge, but she has come through them beautifully because she has that long history of activity and exercise. So for all those reasons we've discussed in previous videos, it cannot be said enough how much lifting heavy stuff is so important. So important for everybody, but especially for us women. We have to lift heavy things. And we can do it. You have proven that you can do it by sticking with this 6-week program. I'm so excited for you to see. And, we've been kind of catching up in the Facebook group, seeing what your progress has been. So I am just so honored that you've trusted me with the 6-week program. And I look forward to future programs.